Pocket Pixels, Glitch Book 1, Rise of the Glitch Master. Chapter 1, Spaghetti from the Sky. The sky wasn't right. It looked like someone had microwaved the clouds, melting into drips of static and strange flickers of rainbow-colored pixels. The light poles buzzed in odd rhythms. From somewhere far off, there was a low mechanical hum, like a hard drive grinding to death. The man stood still on the sidewalk, clutching a plastic bag with 2 used game cartridges and a thermos of lukewarm coffee. His Shiba Inu, Ichigo, trotted ahead, tail perked but ears back. "Hey," the man muttered, kneeling down. "You feel that?" Ichigo didn't bark. He just stared forward, hackles rising, eyes locked on something emerging from the cracked asphalt ahead. It started as steam. Then, like overcooked spaghetti poured from a glitch in the sky, long, wet strands of corrupted code slithered out of a glowing fissure in the street. They writhed like living tentacles, some sparking with electricity, others forming the loose shape of limbs or faces before melting back into mush. One noodle tentacle slapped onto the hood of a car. Another splashed against a storefront window. Wherever it touched, the world flickered. And then eyes opened in the mass. Red, dead pixels for pupils. Splorg. The spaghetti-like beast fully emerged, 8 feet tall and stretching sideways like a broken JPEG. Its limbs ended in wire coils, an old VHS tape spooled from its torso. Bits of metal and game cartridges stuck out from its body, some still blinking with power lights. It hissed in a language that sounded like someone fast-forwarding a cassette tape. The man stepped in front of Ichigo. "Well, that's new." Ichigo let out a deep growl, teeth bared. Suddenly, the creature lunged. "Fight in the streets." The man pulled out a rusted piece of rebar from a construction barrel and swung, cracking one of the monster's wriggling limbs. It shrieked in distortion and retracted, glitching in and out of reality. A second spaghetti monster oozed out of a nearby manhole, dragging traffic signs and sewer grates in its wake. The streetlights shorted out. Arcade game sounds began to echo from nowhere, distorted, low-pitched versions of Insert Coin and Round 1, Fight. The man yelled over the chaos. "Ichigo! Go! Run back home!" But Ichigo didn't move. Instead, he charged, leaping straight into the second beast with shocking speed. His small frame collided with its mass, knocking it back. Sparks erupted from the impact. Ichigo landed, panting, but alive. The man blinked. "You're insane." They were both panting now. The monsters weren't gone, but they were confused, broken code leaking from their limbs like digital blood. And then through the fog and chaos, they saw it. An old sign barely lit. A beacon of nostalgia. Blockbuster video, final sale. "Wait," the man said. "You remember that place, Ichigo wagged once. They ran for it. Into the old Blockbuster. The door was barely hanging on its hinges. Inside, it smelled like mold, dust, and faded memories. The once glorious wall of rentals now sagged with warped VHS tapes and melted DVD cases. Spiderwebs danced with old posters of The Matrix and Mortal Kombat. But deeper inside, the light was still on in the back corner. Rows of cartridges lined a broken shelf. SNES, Genesis, N64, each one glowing faintly with neon light. The man stepped closer, eyes wide. "These are power-ups." He reached for one labeled Glitch Slayer. Another cartridge floated on its own toward Ichigo. It was green, slightly transparent, and pulsed like a heartbeat. Ichigo sniffed it, licked it, then bit down. Chapter 2. Power restored. The cartridge pulsed as Ichigo clamped down, and then everything exploded in green. A gust of hot wind burst through the ruined Blockbuster, scattering shredded movie cases like leaves. Lights flickered violently, strobe-like, casting Ichigo's tiny form in bursts of neon green and deep shadow. Ichi. The man shielded his eyes. Static electricity danced across the walls. The rows of VHS tapes trembled. Shelves cracked. Somewhere, a now-playing monitor buzzed back to life and displayed only one word. Upgrading. Ichigo floated 2 feet off the ground, encased in a bubble of green binary code. Symbols scrolled rapidly around his body, ancient cheat codes, forgotten passwords, Konami symbols, and game genie glyphs. His eyes glowed emerald. His fur stood on end. His silhouette stretched and shimmered, still distinctly dog but changed. Pixels peeled off his body like smoke, only to reshape into armor. Brushed steel segments slid into place over his back and limbs, etched with golden circuit-like patterns. His paws pulsed with energy pads that sparked with power. And then, whoosh! A glowing green digital sword manifested in midair and gently descended into Ichigo's mouth. It crackled with pixel sparks and made a faint chime like an 8-bit level-up sound. He landed softly, like a ninja. Still Ichigo, still small, still a Shiba. But now, a samurai of the glitch. The man's power-up. The man stood speechless for a second. Then he noticed another glow, this one coming from a shelf labeled Rare Imports. Half buried beneath a stack of Japanese laserdiscs was a black and purple SNES cartridge. No label, no logo, just a handwritten sticker on it that read, "Do not play." So obviously he grabbed it. The moment his fingers touched the plastic, a low-frequency hum filled the building. His hand twitched, spasming, then steadied. A warm rush of data surged through his arm. Across the room, an old Famicom cabinet creaked open, and inside was something impossible. A sword. Its blade shimmered like it had been forged from flickering menu screens, sharp edges wrapped in digital static. Retro sprites danced across the metal like fireflies. The hilt was wrapped in worn NES controller cable. He gripped it tight. "We're not just running anymore, Ichigo," he said, eyes meeting the glowing green of his pups. "Time to fight." Ichigo barked once, sharp, focused, ready. The glitch ghosts arrive. From outside came a low, glitching whine. The front windows burst inward, shards flying, but not from spaghetti monsters this time. No. These were worse. Ghostly figures hovered in the air like broken game saves, flickering clones made of corrupted player data. Shadow versions of the man and Ichigo. Their movements were jagged, like skipping frames in an emulator crash. The ghost clone of Ichigo had one eye missing, its sword bent and twitching. It made no sound, only glitched whimpers that warped with audio crackles. The Shadow Man clone dragged a sword across the floor, leaving trails of red code behind. The man stood firm. "These things, they're like memory errors, leftover echoes of us." Ichigo snarled, tail stiff. The glitch ghosts lunged. First battle, code versus code. Ichigo moved like he had been fighting his whole life. He weaved under the clone's twisted strikes, leapt from shelf to shelf, and clashed blades midair with the corrupted version of himself. Sparks burst across the dark aisles, lighting up faded posters of Tron and Street Fighter II. Clang! Slash! Zap! The man locked swords with his clone, parrying glitch slashes that left trails of distortion in the air. One missed swing shattered a row of GameCube discs, sending pixelated fragments raining like confetti. "We need to get out of here," the man grunted, ducking a wild strike. "Back into the city, they're leading us somewhere. I can feel it." Ichigo kicked his clone backward into a stack of shelves and nodded. As the man sliced through his ghost's arm, breaking it into floating code blocks, they sprinted toward the fire exit. Escape! They burst into the back alley, moonlight warped by broken sky textures above. The whole city was getting worse. Buildings now hovered slightly above the ground, like broken assets in a sandbox game. Traffic lights blinked nonsense. Garbage bags flickered in and out of view. But Ichigo's blade still glowed bright. And now the man was no longer afraid. He looked down at his pup and smirked. "You ready to debug this whole damn city?" Ichigo barked, sword flashing once like a digital sun. They moved as one, into the dark, glitching night. Chapter 3: Into the City of Corruption. The night had no stars. Only dead pixels hung in the sky, like frozen pieces of code waiting to crash. Street signs rotated endlessly, unreadable symbols spinning in red glitch fonts. Storefronts blinked between decades, one moment a coffee shop, the next a 90s Radio Shack, the next just black void with a 404, reality not found sign hanging in midair. The man and Ichigo stood at the edge of a main street intersection that used to be called Pierce and 7th. Now the street markers floated 20 feet in the air, spinning wildly like corrupted game assets. "This place was normal yesterday," the man said. "Now it feels like we're inside a debug room." Ichigo sniffed the air, crouched low. Across the street, a bank twisted sideways like a corrupted JPEG loading halfway. Its doors slammed open and shut, glitching at rapid speed. Purple sparks spat from every window. Inside, something stirred. Then came the sound. A metallic screech like someone scraping a hard drive with claws. From the alleyways and subway grates they came. Dozens of them. Glitch monsters. Not spaghetti anymore. These were different now, evolved. They moved in stutters, frames skipping between walk cycles. Their eyes were corrupted camera lenses, arms made of shattered data cables, bodies too thin, too long, like someone stretched a sprite out of bounds. Every one of them leaked green and purple code. One walked upside down along the edge of a floating billboard. Another fell from the sky like a corrupted NPC model, crashing to the ground and rising like a puppet on broken strings. Ichigo stood his ground. "They're watching us," the man said, "testing, like a game engine learning how to hurt us." Then they charged. Battle in broken blocks. Ichigo dashed first, sword gleaming green. His tiny body blurred with speed as he zipped between two glitch beasts. Slicing one clean in half midair, its remains dissolved into pixel fog. The man followed, vaulting off a flickering car that kept changing models, from Prius to hot rod to hovercraft and back again. He landed with a heavy slash into a three-headed glitch beast that screamed in Game Boy startup sounds. "Back off, corrupted trash." A beast lunged from a rooftop, jaws open like a CRT splitting in two. Ichigo spun mid-leap, parried its bite, and launched it into a glitchy mailbox that instantly exploded in confetti. It had physics errors. Everything here did. Another monster slammed its fists down, crushing the ground into a pit of floating, rotating tiles. The man barely rolled out of the way as it collapsed, revealing a void of swirling code below the sidewalk. "Ichi, we gotta keep moving." The pup barked and landed beside him, blade still sparking. The Tower of Blocks. Ahead, a strange structure began to rise. Not a real building, more like a stack of broken road pieces, mailboxes, payphones, arcade machines, and game controllers, twisting upward like a tower in a 3D platformer gone rogue. The blocks floated into place as they watched, as if building a level on the fly. "It's guiding us," the man muttered, "or baiting us." Ichigo growled, then, without hesitation, jumped onto the first floating slab. "What? No rope? No ladder? Fine. Just don't fall." The man leapt after him, their bodies rising higher and higher above the streets of corrupted chaos below. From the sides of the tower, glitch monsters continued to climb, pulling themselves up the edges like zombie ragdolls. Some teleported in midair. Others came in the form of floating CRT heads, firing static beams that warped space. One glitch monster grabbed the man's leg. Ichigo launched off a nearby payphone chunk and cleaved the thing in half with a glowing green flash. "Thanks," the man said, catching his breath. "You really are cracked." Ichigo let out a low huff. At the top, the throne awakens. They reached the final block, a wide, floating rooftop made of mashed-together city streets and blinking TV screens. It hovered silently above the city like a throne room for a god of broken games. At the center, he waited. The air grew colder. The buildings below shivered and blinked out of existence one by one. A giant throne of floating CRTs spun slowly in midair, glitching between different eras. On one screen, Ichigo's face. On another, the man. On a third, a distorted game over screen. And seated in the throne, massive and pulsing with corrupt data, the glitch master. His body was made of TV static and game textures stitched together like a Frankenstein of forgotten file formats. Arms too long. Face a swirling mess of logos, villain sprites, and UI elements. His voice boomed through every speaker in the city, deep and flickering with distortion. "Welcome to the end of reality, Player One, and your little mutt too. You stole my power-ups, you broke my ghosts, but you cannot delete me. This city belongs to the glitch now." The man raised his blade. "Yeah, well, consider this a patch update." Ichigo's sword ignited brighter than ever. The glitch master lifted one claw and snapped. Behind him, the corrupted clouds parted, and an army of shadow glitch ghosts emerged. Hundreds, all variations of Ichigo and the man. Some wielding fake power-ups, others riding corrupted Shibas with reversed faces, their movements synced like a dance of the damned. "He made copies of us," the man whispered, "versions that lost." Ichigo stood tall, breathing hard, eyes locked. "We take them together," the man said. "All of them." Chapter 4, Shadows of the Self. Welcome to the final level, losers. Glitch Master. The rooftop throne spun slowly in a storm of static. The sky cracked open with zigzag lightning made from old UI bars and error screens. The glitch master sat upon his crooked throne of busted CRTs, laughing like a malfunctioning boss fight intro screen. Below him, a swarm of glitch ghost clones assembled in perfect rows, twisted doubles of the man and Ichigo. Each twitched with corrupted movements. One clone Ichigo had an upside-down face. Another dragged its tail like it was on a loop. They blinked in and out of sync, mouths moving without sound, like haunted versions of themselves from deleted save files. The real man cracked his neck and rolled his shoulders, sword raised. His coat flapped in the digital wind like a hero, standing atop Final Destination. Ichigo, now fully armored in pixel samurai plating, narrowed his glowing green eyes. "Let's finish this level," the man growled. The ghost army strikes. The first wave came in fast. 3 Shadow Man clones dashed forward, blades glitching mid-swing, trailing red code and smoke. Ichigo intercepted, flipping through the air, blade flashing in wide arcs. With every strike, a clone burst into shimmering cubes and dissolved into the void. "Slice, zit, shatter. Is that the best version of me you got?" the man shouted, kicking one clone into a falling CRT tower. "I've had laggier matches on dial-up." The glitch master grinned, his mouth a mess of game over fonts. "Oh, you're funny. That'll make your reboot all the sweeter when I turn you into a loading screen." Ichigo darted beneath the glitching shadows, using their corrupted physics against them. He spun midair and slashed downward, sending shockwaves of green light across the floor, knocking entire rows of ghosts into freefall. Behind him, the man ran a full sprint along a collapsing road made of old arcade cabinets, leaping off the edge just as the glitch master hurled a glitch orb the size of a minivan. Kaboom! It exploded into a fireball of raw data, blasting pixels and circuit sparks into the sky. "Whoa, that one had zip," the man yelled. "You throw like an Atari." Trash talk showdown. The glitch master stood, cloak of static flickering wildly. The floating CRTs above him glowed bright red, each one showing moments from old levels, all the battles Ichigo and the man had survived. "Look at you, barking mutt and washed-up joystick jockey. You really think you're gonna uninstall me? I am the final patch, baby." The man pointed his sword upward. "You're not a patch. You're a bad DLC with no refund policy. You glitched your way into this world." Ichigo snarled. "Yes, he speaks now, digital transformation bonus. And we're about to debug your throne." The glitch master laughed harder, lightning exploding behind him like a 90s music video. "Talk is cheap, Shiba punk. Let's see if your code can handle this, glitch shadow storm." He raised both hands. The sky ripped open like a corrupted Photoshop file, pouring thousands of clone ghosts downward like a downpour of evil versions. Final combo attack. Ichigo and the man looked at each other. "One nod, that's all." Activate final combo mode. Ichigo sprinted in, zigzagging like a bullet through the army. He flipped off floating signs, dashed up enemies, and launched himself into the air like a green blur. The man followed, jumping rooftop to rooftop, sword slicing in rhythm with Ichigo's strikes. "Let's go, Ichi, on my count." "Now!" Ichigo launched himself off the man's shoulder midair, spinning vertically like a drill, his blade glowing bright green and pulsing like a heartbeat. At the same moment the man leapt high, his sword humming, both hands on the hilt, bringing it down in a massive power slash. Boom! They collided into the glitch master at the same time, one from above, one from below. The twin attacks pierced through the throne and the glitch master's core, causing an explosion of white-hot code that tore through the sky like a digital sun. The glitch ghosts paused, then screamed in digital static before shattering into falling ones and zeros. The glitch master's last words. The glitch master floated, broken and disintegrating. CRTs exploded one by one around him. His form crackled with void energy, flickering wildly. This isn't over. You think you've won. You've only beaten this version." A swirling purple portal of code and static formed behind him, pulling him back into the abyss. "I'll be back in your next save slot. I'll be there when your batteries die. I am every corrupted file you forgot to back up." He grinned one last time. "See ya next reboot, suckers." And then he was gone. Chapter 5: Reset the World. Silence. The kind that feels unreal after so much chaos. The city no longer pulsed with corrupted energy. No more floating billboards, no pixel fog, no twisted glitch ghosts flickering in alleys. Just the wind. The man stood still atop the final rooftop, his blade humming quietly at his side. The neon sky had faded to a soft, early morning gray. Sunlight peeked through normal clouds. Birds chirped. Real birds, not audio glitches or looping sound bites. He looked down at Ichigo. The little Shiba sat calmly by his boot, panting softly, his green glow completely gone. No armor, no sword, just his fluffy, normal self, tail curled, tongue out, eyes relaxed. "You back to factory settings, huh?" the man said with a tired smile. Ichigo let out a happy woof and wagged his tail once. The rooftop beneath them creaked as it slowly lowered, not by magic or glitch, but because it was just an old elevator. The throne of TVs, gone, the shattered buildings, back to brick and mortar. The arcade signs were dusty but readable. A game and grub food truck blinked to life 2 streets away. The whole city had reset. No one screamed. No one ran. In fact, no one seemed to remember what had happened. As if reality had overwritten the corrupted data, replaced the bugs with clean code. The walk home. They stepped off the elevator platform and walked down a cracked sidewalk. A guy on a skateboard passed by, nodding casually. A woman pushed a stroller. A barista waved from a small coffee shop window. The man nodded back like nothing was strange. "No one remembers," he muttered. "Maybe that's for the best." Ichigo sniffed a fire hydrant and gave it the full inspection, tail swishing contentedly. He looked up at his human with that classic Shiba squint, part smug, part wise, part hungry. The man laughed softly. "Don't give me that look. You saved the damn city and now you want a snack." Ichigo barked once. They turned down their block quiet, shaded with trees. The apartment complex was still standing. That was a relief. As they approached the door, the man looked down at his hand. Still there, still real. And in that hand the sword. It hadn't disappeared like the armor or the glitch ghosts. The blade still shimmered faintly with a low hum, like the power inside was sleeping, waiting. "Well, guess we're keeping this," he said. He propped the blade against the door frame and ruffled Ichigo's ears. The little Shiba let out a deep yawn and curled up at the base of the steps. The man looked out at the city one more time. Normal, safe, but too quiet. He smiled. "If that glitchy freak ever comes back," he said, pulling the sword over his shoulder like a backpack strap. "I'm installing a asterisk firewall and a foot up his CRT." Ichigo snorted. They went inside, the door shutting with a soft click. Outside, the city buzzed like it always had, but in a nearby alley, hidden behind old trash bins and graffiti. A single CRT screen flickered to life. Static. Then black. End of Book 1. This has been Pocket Pixels, glitched out audiobook. Book 1, The Rise of Glitch Master. You will be able to get a hard copy on Amazon and help support future projects. Like and subscribe for future books and games. As always, till next time, and don't forget to power up.
You dare defy me, Ichigo? You fuzzy firewall!